Welcome to Live Free. I'm AngelaKayAustin. Together, we'll discuss books, we'll explore the world, and we'll do it with some of my closest friends. And hopefully, we'll make new ones along the way.
Hey everybody, we're in South Haven, Mississippi at the M.R. Davis Public Library.
I'm Caroline Barnett. I'm the head librarian here at the M.R. Davis Public Library in South Haven, Mississippi. We're delighted to be here sharing information about how we work with local authors. We're actually standing in another place that is dear to my heart. This is our art gallery, which we work with the South Haven Arts Council to have a rotating collection of local artists. So we are proud and happy to work with all kinds of artists in our community. At the South Haven Library, we work with local authors in a variety of ways. We feel like it's very important for our local authors to be represented in our collection of materials. And so we are eager to have local authors come. Of course, we don't always know that you're an author until you come in and tell us, although I have found working in Mississippi that everybody has a story and about 90% of the people are actually trying to write it. So we know there are local authors out there, but you need to come in and tell us that you have books that you would either like to donate or request that the library purchase them. All of our libraries are interested in having materials. At our branch, we actually have gotten enough wonderful local authors books to have a local author section. So we have a place where we feature the local authors, all kinds of materials, fiction, children's books, memoirs, biographies, nonfiction books about various topics. So we are very interested in spreading the word of what people want to share about their lives or about their communities or about their ideas of how life might be. So we're always interested in having local authors come in and let us know that they have published materials.
Okay, hey everybody, we're here with my friend Linda Red Stag, and I want her to introduce herself to you and tell you all about her writing and how long she's been in this game.
Hi everyone. As she said, I'm Linda Red Stag. I'm an author of women's fiction, romance, paranormal romance, romantic suspense, try a little bit of everything. I've been writing since about 2004, seriously writing. And my first book was published in 2007. To date, I probably have about 32 novels and various novellas and short stories published. As some people in Mississippi will say to me, you're not from around here. No, I'm not. We grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, but I've been here for about 20 years, so I feel like I'm an honorary Southerner. And writing is a passion for me. It has been for a long time, but as I said, it wasn't until 2004 that I started to take it seriously. And the words have just flowed since then. It's what I love. It's what I do when I come home from work. It's what I do all weekend. It's what I do every breathing moment I have that I don't have to work. And it's something that I couldn't stop doing if I wanted to.
Hello, my name is Jay Henderson. I write inspirational romance, which is the edgier side of Christian fiction, and contemporary fiction. My first book was published in about 2013. I would describe what I do as literature with a message. A lot of my books are geared towards singles, they're geared towards women, they're geared towards dating and relationships. I delve into all of those things because at the time I began writing, that's what I was going through, and I guess I was venting. And my venting turned into some manuscripts that ended up being put into books. I enjoy writing. It's a good hobby. It's a good way to release the tensions from the day, the week, the year. But I also enjoy being able to craft characters that people can relate to. One of the best compliments that people can give an author is that they see themselves in your book, and that not only did they enjoy your book, but they learned something.
All right, Linda, tell us a little bit about the events that you pulled together with the DeSoto Authors group that you've been doing across Mississippi.
Sure. When I first started out trying to market books
locally and trying to reach out to readers, the library seemed a natural place to go. That's where you're going to find readers. And the South Haven Library, Caroline, and the library here have been so welcoming to new authors. And I did some book signings, and then I put together a couple of workshops for new writers. Had a few people come, and then we started to get more inquiries from people about workshops about writing and for writers, as well as book signing events. And so with a few other local authors, Kim Smith, AngelaKayAustin, we formed the DeSoto Writers Alliance. And it's not a group you join, it's just a name only for what we do. But under that title, we began to work with the library here to offer more workshops, and the Friends of the Library were very helpful. We've had everything from book signings to informative workshops to an afternoon tea for readers to come to and meet authors. And the library has been, I think, like a right arm for me in terms of networking with other writers and meeting potential readers. You know, I've done some workshops and put together book signings with local authors here in South Haven and in Olive Branch as well. The First Regional System is wonderful. Last fall I participated in a local authors signing that the Hernando Library presented, and it was very well done. It feels like a natural fit for authors and libraries. I mean, it just makes sense. This is where people come to find books to read. Being able to also give something back to the writing community, and especially to people who want to write, who are new at writing, who just don't know where to go. I had a lot of people help me when I started out, and I feel the best we can do then is pay it forward to other new writers who are looking for direction, and to provide that kind of guidance for them, and the avenues for getting our books out to readers.
Jay, tell us a little bit about your participation in local author events at libraries around Tennessee and Mississippi.
Let me begin by saying I absolutely love libraries. As a child, my mother took me to the library quite a bit. I would go to story hour with my friends. So from there, I grew a love of not only reading, but libraries as well. And as I became a book author, you learn that libraries, I know they can't survive without books, so the two of them are just hand in hand and kindred spirits and always willing to help each other. One of my first events that I did was Book Stock at the main library in Memphis. And I was really surprised, pleasantly surprised, because it was my first book, at the amount of people that came to Book Stock specifically to see me. I did not expect that. So the love that I was able to get, and also it was like the first really spark that I had that I must be on to something. I must be doing something well that people like and they want to purchase my book. I've also developed a really good relationship with the North Branch Library. There's a couple of book clubs out of there, the Renaissance Men and the Sisters United. They've had me there several times to talk about my book. So when you see the different people that use libraries, I've done a book event with Linda and AngelaKayAustin in Olive Branch, and that was a different audience for me. And that's another benefit of libraries, because everyone from all walks of life use the library. So getting your books on bookshelves and libraries often get you the opportunity to get your books in front of a different audience, people who may have never heard of you before or even your genre before. And they're intrigued, and then they read it and ask for more, and they look you up online, send you nice little emails about how much they enjoyed your book. So I love libraries and the exposure that they offer authors, especially indie authors, because we need all the exposure that we can get.
Exactly, you know it.
Okay, Carolyn, so we spoke a little bit about how a local author can get their books on your shelves. Tell us a little bit more about what that process looks like.
Well, I do think it's important that you actually do come in and bring your book and talk to the library staff. Most of our libraries in the First Regional System have some process. It's a little different each place. So we are very happy to talk with you. At our branch, for example, we do have the local author display, so we're always happy to add books. But we want to offer something beyond just having your book on our shelf. So we try to do a variety of things We do invite authors to come to our book clubs that meet here at the library. Not all of the authors we work with are able to come when the book club meets in the daytime. So we have had some Saturday events that Linda talked about, but also we offer the opportunity for people to do individual book signings. It is important, if you're not a big name Kirkus or Publisher Weekly reviewed librarian, that you do some of the publicity work yourself as well. We'll print up flyers, put it on our library Facebook page, but it's important for you to do some of that work as well, putting it on whatever social media that you have. And we are happy to print more flyers for you to distribute other places. We do send our flyers to all 14 of our branches. So we have a nice array of ways that we can help authors. One of the things that we've also done, a lot of authors said, well, I just can't, get over there on a Saturday or whatever. So we've let people just send us their bookmarks and their business cards and put their books on a special display, had a featured author for the month. We put their picture with their books up on our display, also on our event page, and try to provide a variety of ways, because it is hard. Most independent authors are working additional jobs in addition to your writing, so we know that it takes a lot of different ways to do it. So we're always happy to have bookmarks or anything like that that would put the word out. I agree with you that it's hard to, because I get emails all the time from authors all over the country saying, we'd love to have our book in your library and we think you'd like it because it's about XYZ. I'm not buying every book that is set in the South. I can't. So it certainly makes a difference if you make the effort to call or to come in and say, we've had people's mothers come in and pitch their books, so we're happy to talk to anybody, because we love books too, and we love to get the word out. And there's always a new story, a new way to tell things. So we're open to any ideas that the programs and workshops that we've done have been wonderful, because the one workshop we did, we had over 70 people come for that writing workshop, and most of the people who came were writers already and had very specific questions about how you do self-publishing, online publishing. I need an editor. So it was a great opportunity for people to kind of network.
Okay, so some libraries would say they would put it on the shelves, it wouldn't appear. Others said they would put it on the shelves and it was almost as if it was there by magic, like the very next day. So tell me, how did you get your books on the shelves of the libraries around this area or beyond?
Well, it's interesting. When I became a new author, I didn't even think about putting them in libraries. I didn't even know they were there until I got a phone call from a book club. And they said they wanted to read my book. And of course, I'm like, great. But they asked me to give them multiple copies of my book. And I was like, well, that's normally not how it works. Usually the book clubs purchase my book, but I can give you a discount. And then I get an email back later saying, never mind, we found several copies of your book in the library. I was like, what? You did? I didn't know that. So I was really pleasantly surprised that I had books in the library because I did not ask for them to be there. And so then going forward, sometimes I probably don't push that angle as much as I should, but there are times when I just gift books to libraries. I live in Fox Meadows, and I went into the branch one day and asked, did she have any of my books? They had my earlier books. So I just gave them copies of some of my later books. So it's not always, I know you won't get a sale that way, but I just want to share my gift with the world. And for a library, especially one in my own neighborhood, I don't mind gifting it to them. I remember once I was in Jackson, Tennessee, doing a book event at the library, and they had no copies of my book. So I just stopped by and talked to the librarian, and she was like, I don't know if this policy has changed. This was years ago, but she was like, we have a pretty nice book budget. You just need people who live here to call in and have a library card, to call in and request your book. So, at that point, I was calling everybody I knew that lived in that city, asking them to please call the local library and ask them to put my books on the shelf. So
That's true. That is actually a good point, because we almost always purchase things that people request, just because we know that's of interest. Only, and we are happy to purchase books. We just need to, know about them to be able to do that.
And sometimes it's hard to get things if you're self-published or something. So you need to give us as much information as possible in order for us to be able to purchase it. And then, you know, once we have an author, we try to be sure that we're keeping up with what else you might be printing. But that's a great idea, actually, to get library users to request it, because we will buy it.
Well, let me ask you, you just mentioned sometimes it can be hard to get an indie author's book. Is there a certain avenue that you all initially go through? Say I were to call and say, I noticed that you don't have any J. Henderson books on your shelf. Would you mind ordering some, because me and my friends enjoy reading her? Well, I mean, is there a database that you look at?
Because most public libraries, for basically reasons of economy and efficiency, use a vendor who provides, you know, certain, you know, most of the materials that you buy. And if a lot of independent authors are not going to be on those big name Baker and Taylor, Ingram vendor lists, so we usually then try to go through something like Amazon or another online source. So we just, if we can't find it on our vendors database, then we do just, usually I just call back and say, it's not on our vendors database. Can you give me your publisher so that we can find it and purchase it that way? And we usually have to use a different kind of fund. So that's why it takes sometimes a little bit of time to get a book. And then we do like to catalog them, so they're actually where people can see them in the catalog, because it doesn't do you too much good just to know that, oh, the South Haven Library has a bunch of local authors, but if I live in Como, I'm not driving up there to see what they are. But if you can find me on the library's catalog, then we can just send it to Como for you. So it is important to do those little extra steps to be sure that the library knows who you are and knows how to get your materials.
Okay, another question.
Sure.
What would be the reason that you would reject getting an author's book?
Another way for authors to be recognized and featured is with the Mississippi Library Association. We have actually a Mississippi Author Awards committee. Every year we give an award to a living author who has either lived in Mississippi for 5 consecutive years or is a native Mississippian. And we have a category for adult fiction, adult nonfiction, and then a special category which is often a young adult or children's book, but can also be photography, poetry. Those things need to be submitted to our committee, and we can give you the contact information for that. It's a wonderful way for Mississippians to find out about the people in their state who are writers. We have a rich history of writing in Mississippi and wonderful authors, and we certainly want to keep that going, and that's one of the reasons that we have the Mississippi Author Awards.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Live Free. Libraries are important to indie authors, but as you can see, they are important beyond that to the communities that they serve, offering services that many may not have access to otherwise. Please be sure to tune in next week for part 2 of this episode.